Hello, buddy. This is Leo Bro. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome.
How are you?
I never
miss
seen
you.
this. I actually,
Hi.
I haven't. But I'm going to be reacting.
As children grow up, they're absorbent to everything exposed to them. This is the age where they're molded and developed into the person they're going to be. As such, they deserve the best media television has to offer. But when a character becomes so real that children can start to relate and feel
I'm
with them,
going to be
it's
reacting
powerful. So today,
to
I'm going to count down the saddest moments in kid
top
shows.
20 saddest moments
Before
in kid
there's a damn
shows.
war zone in the comments, spoilers, these moments may not be sad now as we get older, but they definitely were when we were kids. And that's kind of the point. And some moments will mean more to me if it's from a show I grew up with.
Yep.
Anyways, this is the top 20 saddest moments in kid shows.
Top 20 saddest moments in kid shows. There we go. Let's watch this.
20. Married Melodies. Feed the Kitty. This is a classic. Mark the Bulldog befriends and takes care of a small kitten. Throughout the episode, he tries to hide the small cat from his owner so that she won't get kicked out.
Now I have seen everything.
But she eventually ends up in an electric mixer to be made into cookies. Then she is made into morbidly animal-shaped cookies. It gets even more depressing when Mark places the cookie on his back, just like how the small kitten used to. But we learn that she actually got out of the mixer when Mark was thrown out of the house. And she's safe. Thank God, because before that, the ending was just tear-jerking.
Guess what? Now,
Number 19.
there's one
The
thing
World of
about me.
David the Gnome.
I
The ending.
easily, when I see
In the series
something
finale,
that is sad,
David
I
and his
usually
wife,
cry.
Lisa, must travel to
It's
the mountains
very
of beyond.
easy to make me cry.
This
Very
is because
easy.
gnomes only live to be 400 years old, and they will soon be approaching that age. They all share a cheer about their mandatory death with their friend Casper, who also will be passing soon.
Don't cry, my friend. Don't cry. After we've gone, you'll find some new friends, I'm sure of it.
Through thick snow and heavy winds, they all say their farewells to each other and prepare for the afterlife.
Farewell, my dear David, my husband, my love.
Farewell, my beloved. I thank you for all the love you've given me.
Number 18.
Number 18.
Cat Dog.
God Dog,
The
Great
Great
Parents
Parents
Mystery.
Mystery.
Okay.
In this 3-part special, Cat Dog are on a quest to find their parents. They meet aliens, fish monsters, and even a village of cats and dogs who live happily together in peace. Alas, they're still unable to reunite with their parents. That is until they literally run into this creature.
Hi-ho, Diggity! Mommy! Daddy! I finally found my boys.
It's got 4 eyes! Well, actually, 2 of them are mine.
That's right, they're Cat Dog's parents. Not their biological ones, but they raised them, fed them, loved them, and made them who they are today. We learned that they were tragically separated from each other due to a tornado erupting from the ground. Fortunately, they do reunite, but that sucks how they were separated. And we still don't know who their parents really are. Number 17. American Dragon Jake Long.
Now,
Home
I
with
never
Me.
watched this show.
This show was awesome.
Don't hate me for this, but
Yes,
I
the
never
art style
watched it.
changed mid-series because of a new director.
And
And I'm one of the few that actually prefers the new, sharper style. I don't know, it just reminds me of Spectacular Spider-Man. But the show still kicked ass.
I never watched
In
this
what
one.
was supposed to be the series finale, this episode had Jake and Rose nominated as Homecoming King and
It's
Queen.
good.
But
I
when
guess
the huntsmen
it's good.
managed to capture the last Aztec skull, they tried to use it to wish away all mythical creatures, including Jake. Instead, Rose knocks the huntsman out at the last moment, calling for the destruction of all huntsmen instead, including herself. Jake then grabs the main skull, wishing for Rose to have never been taken by the Hunt clan. The next day, Jake reunites with Rose. The wish came true. But since she was never taken at birth, she led a completely different life and doesn't even know Jake.
So, I guess I'll see you around.
Actually, you won't. My dad got a job overseas. We're leaving for Hong Kong first thing tomorrow. Well, it was nice talking to you.
You too, Rose. Happy homecoming.
Number 16. The Ren and Stimpy Show, Son of Stimpy. Oh, calling this a kid's show is hard, but it was on daytime Nickelodeon, so it counts. John Kay, the creator of the show, stated that if he made more heartwarming stories, Nickelodeon would let him do more gross stories. In this episode, Stimpy gives birth to a fart, who gets lost. And that's it. The rest of the episode is just about Stimpy being a distraught mother trying to find her baby. Now, the episode still has its familiar imagery and animation, but it's way sadder than usual. Number 15. The Adventures of Batman and Robin, Baby Doll. This show
When
has
I
tons of
was
emotional
younger,
moments,
I never
focusing
actually
hard on
liked
giving all the
Batman.
villains an
Never
actual
actually
backstory and
liked
some character.
watching them.
But the one gem that
But yeah,
everyone
I
looks
never
over
actually
is
liked
Baby Doll, a woman with a
watching
weird
them, but
condition
yeah, it's
that
fine, I
prevents her from
guess.
looking older. She used to be a hit star on a television show before being upstaged and leaving. Now she can't find any work, so she tries to capture her old cast members to recreate her once hit show. It's a little silly, but you really do feel bad for Baby Doll. And it's the third act that really gets to you. How she's essentially running away from the reality that Batman represents, and even forced to confront herself. Number 14. Adventure Time, I Remember You.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah,
what a
I remember
bright,
this
simplistic,
one.
and
This
colorful
is sad.
show. Surely there isn't anything sad in this series. Oh, I've talked about the episode I Remember You before, but let's do this. Ice King, without a doubt, is one of the most tragic characters in the show, and this episode explores his relationship with Marceline, the Vampire Queen. We learn that the Ice King, or Simon as he used to be called, took care of a young Marceline during the events of the war. But since then, Simon has now been reduced to a crazy, pathetic old man who has been suffering from insanity to the point where he doesn't even remember Marceline.
True,
She was
yeah.
desperate to make her
true.
only childhood friend and father figure remember her. Number 13. Justice League Unlimited, for the man who has
Oh,
everything.
Justice League, for the man who was everything.
Based on the comic of the same name, Batman and Wonder Woman travel to the Fortress of Solitude to visit Superman on his birthday. They discover an alien-looking parasite on Superman's chest, causing him to hallucinate. While Batman tries to remove it and Wonder Woman fights Mongol, Superman is trapped in a dream where his home planet Krypton was never destroyed, and he lives with a lady named Loana and their son Vanel. But Superman has this repeated feeling that something isn't right. It dawns on him that, yeah, Krypton did explode when he was a child, and he really lives on Earth. As his utopian life begins to fade away, he has to tell his son that this isn't real, he isn't real. Number 12. Alvin and the Chipmunks. Cookie Chomper the
no,
Third.
not this one.
In this episode, the Chipmunks find a stray cat
sad.
and name her Cookie Chomper the Third. The boys tried their hardest to keep their pet a secret, but eventually Dave finds out. Dave agrees to keep Cookie, despite his allergies, and even buys her a collar and a tag. Soon after, Cookie Chomper III sneaks out and gets hit by a car and killed. Dave shows the collar to the Chipmunks, but Theodore interprets it as she's just lost without her collar.
What are you doing, Theodore? Theodore, Cookie Chomper is dead. Theodore, remember the man who came over this morning?
Alvin gets rid of all things alive so that they don't have to deal with another loss again. And even Simon is moping. They all blame each other, but Dave assures them that it's no one's fault, and soon they'll all be able to remember her in a more positive light. Number 11.
Okay.
Steven Universe.
Oh,
Jesus
Steven
Christ, can this show be depressing at times? Those bright colors and quirky characters are
True.
misleading.
True.
In the
True.
episode On the Run, we learn that Amethyst is a byproduct of whatever horrible event that the Homeworld Gems were trying to accomplish. The fact that she hates what she is, and thinks that everyone thinks of her as a mistake, or a monster, is crazy saddening.
I'm not gonna let you stand there and remind me of everything I hate about myself.
I'm just eating some rice.
Steven tries to break up
Jasmine
the fight before an old gem
rice.
machine smashes onto Amethyst.
Amethyst! 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 Amethyst!
She's fine, but damn. I heard people can relate to Amethyst's internal struggle of identity or disorders. It's very brutal to watch. But the episode I keep hearing about is Rose's scabbard as one of the big emotional highlights of the series. After finding the scabbard that used to belong to Rose, Pearl begins to go off about how the two of them battled alongside each other and that Rose held many secrets from
Damn,
people,
Mickey.
but not Pearl. The two obviously had a really close connection. As it turns out, everyone already knows about Rose's supposed secrets, making Pearl feel less special and in denial.
Rose kept many things secret, even from us.
But not from me! I was the one she told everything!
She lashes out at the group, claiming that Rose never kept any secrets from her.
She probably just wanted to protect you like everyone else.
What do you know? You've never even met her!
We learn in a very harmonious scene that Pearl and Rose had a very deep relationship, and that she misses her greatly.
Oh.
Number 10. Pokemon.
Oh,
I really
no.
can't decide which episode is sadder.
By the way,
It's all both.
by the
In
way,
the
I
episode
am
Bye Bye Butterfree,
actually a
our
very big
heroes are
fan
on their
of
way
Pokemon
towards
now,
Saffron
but
City
I haven't
when
watched
Ash notices a
Pokemon
group
in
of
a
Butterfrees.
very long time. I think
Brock says that it's their
2 years
mating
ago
season,
was
and all the
the last
Butterfrees
time I
are laying
watched
their eggs
Pokemon
all over
anyway.
the sea.
So,
Ash and all the other trainers send their Butterfrees so that they could find their mate.
That's Butterfree's courtship dance.
Courtship dance?
It's Butterfree's way of saying, I want to be your Butterfree.
But it looks like Ash's Pokemon
I
is
swear
getting
Brock
the cold slap of rejection
is the one.
and runs away. Suddenly, Team Rocket
Those
comes
Ash
along
do the
and starts
sad
stealing
ones.
all the Butterfrees,
Sad things.
including this pink one that Ash's Butterfree liked. After a long adventure, the team manages to save all the Pokemon, and Ash's Butterfree impresses his lady friend. At the end of the episode, Butterfree has to leave Ash to be with his lady. They even show a flashback. What's saddest
not
is that
flashbacks.
Butterfree never came back. Like all of Ash's older Pokemon returned in future episodes, but not Butterfree. There's also Pikachu's
Oh
Goodbye.
yeah, Pikachu's goodbye, yeah.
When Pikachu finds a clan of wild Pikachus, he befriends them and even saves one of them. Brock mentions that it must be the best thing in the world for Pikachu to be with his own kind. Team Rocket shows up to rob all the Pikachus, but of course they're inevitably stopped. After celebrating, Ash realizes that what Brock said might be true, and decides that it's best to leave Pikachu with his kind. This time Pikachu does stay with Ash, and the two reunite for more seasons to come. But for Ash to lose his second ever Pokemon, right before almost losing his first, must have torn kids up everywhere.
Yeah. True.
Number
True.
9. SpongeBob.
Oh yeah,
Have you seen
this
this
one.
snail?
I love
Yes, there
the
was
song
also
as
another
well.
sad episode where Gary left SpongeBob for Patrick. But this one is also very heart-wrenching. So, SpongeBob forgets to feed Gary for 10 days, causing him to run away and get lost. Now it's up for a saddened SpongeBob and Patrick to find Gary. It always sucks to see someone like SpongeBob so depressed and forlorn. And he's like that for almost the entire episode. Even the posters and signs are heartbreaking. And then, there's the song. You all know what song I'm talking about.
Yep.
Gary, now I know I was wrong. I messed up, and now you're gone. Gary, I'm sorry I neglected you. Oh, I never expected you to run away and leave me feeling this empty.
So yeah, this is one of my favorite SpongeBob episodes. And it's not all down and gloomy. It has a very nice ending and some of Patrick's best bits.
SpongeBob, what happened? This picture is crooked.
Number 8, The Wild Thornberries.
The Wild
Rebecca
Thornberries.
dies. In this episode, a young Nigel befriends an elephant named Rebecca, and also saves her from the hunters. Years later, Eliza tries to find the same elephant, to see if she remembers her father Nigel, since elephants seemingly never forget.
Smashing.
Smashing.
The two become friends and manage to save Rebecca's daughter Zita from a mud hole.
Don't go.
That is depressing because she was so likable, having known her for just one episode. And it's even worse seeing Eliza trying to deny the inevitable. Number 7.
Number 7.
The ending to Dinosaurs.
Oh, the dinosaurs. Oh,
I try not to put
I
that
remember
many
watching that
finales
one.
on this list because, well, of course it's going to be sad. Most of the time, it's sad because the show's ending, not because the finale itself is actually sad. But this is the most soul-crushing ending ever. And yes, it was on ABC, but look at it. Whose parents wouldn't show their child this? In the final episode, the migration of the bunch beetles is delayed, causing the vines, or cider poppies, to overgrow. Earl, the family dad, sprays massive amounts of defoliant that ends up wiping out all plant life. So, in a desperate act to revive all the plants, Richfield figures that it needs to rain again, and that rain comes from clouds. So he plans on throwing a bunch of bombs into volcanoes so that they would erupt, causing more clouds. However, instead of rain clouds, smoke clouds form, causing a global cooling that scientists say will take tens of thousands of years before the sun can melt away any of the snow.
Well, little guy, what happened was Daddy was put in charge of the world, and he didn't take real good care of it. And now it looks like there won't be much of a world left for you or your brother and sister to live in.
Are we gonna move?
Well, no. There's no place to move to. This is the only world we got.
Well, what's gonna happen to us?
As the camera zooms out and the sound of wind grows, the family prepares for their final night together. Number 6. Sesame Street, Mr. Hooper. When actor Will Lee died in 1982 due to a heart attack, the producers of Sesame Street were left confused over how to deal with his death in the show. His role as Mr. Hooper was so beloved by children that certainly they would notice his sudden disappearance. Therefore, ignoring it was out of the question. After consulting with some child psychologists, the head writer of the show, Norman Stiles, prepared a script designed to deal with the issue of death towards kids. Lee's cause of death was not mentioned, but the episode took a very honest and direct approach. Towards the end, Big Bird meets up with his adult friends to show them his drawings of each of them. He finally presents his drawing of Mr. Hooper and asks, where is he, so that he can give it to him.
Where is he? Big Bird, don't you remember we told you? Mr. Hooper died. He's dead.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Well, I'll give it to him when he comes back.
Big Bird, Mr. Hooper's not coming back.
Why not?
Big Bird, when people die, they don't come back.
Ever?
No, never.
Why not?
Well, Big Bird, they're dead. They can't come back.
Well, she's gonna come back.
Despite the adults' efforts to explain death to Big Bird, he's still confused, sad, and even in denial, which is really heart-clenching.
Well, I don't understand. You know, everything was just fine. Why does it have to be this way? Give me one good reason.
Number 5. Courage's parents.
Oh, I
We all know
love
this show
Courage
is known
Golly
for its dark
Dog.
humor and themes. And that's why it was as popular as it was. Like, really? This got past the censors? That's awesome. But even Courage had more sadder times in a few episodes. Actually, way more than you might think. In this episode, we learn about Courage's backstory and how he ended up with Muriel and Eustace. It turns out that when Courage was a small pup, his parents were kidnapped by a vet. They're stuffed into a rocket ship, to which Courage tries desperately to break them out, before being chased by the same vet. Courage manages to escape, but at the cost of his parents, now soaring into space. In present day, the same vet traps Muriel and Eustace, only this time Courage does manage to save them. And that's it. That's the episode. We see a young Muriel adopting Courage. We even see that his parents are still on some planet, but that's how the episode ends, and it's really sad. Just for Courage's parents to be robbed like that by a sadistic vet, really depressing for a kids show. Number 4. Avatar, The Tales of Ba Sing Se.
Avatar.
This episode is a collection of mini-episodes detailing the adventures of each main character in Ba Sing Se. It's all good fun, not one of the more heavier episodes. Except for the tale of Aro. In this episode, Aro visits a market, helps some kids, almost gets mugged, and then gets to know the mugger. But in the end, Aro goes up a hill, sets up some incenses, and sings a song titled Leaves to the Vine, in memory of his son, who he lost during the siege of Ba Sing Se. The episode is even sadder when this pops up. That's right, Aro's voice actor, the beloved Mako, passed away before this episode aired. I say beloved because, yeah, a lot of people admired his talent and even grew up with his work. And this segment was dedicated to him. Number 3. Hey Arnold. Rewatching Hey Arnold, I found that it was a much more darker show than others on Nickelodeon. The show wasn't afraid to tackle more heavier tones.
I watched
In the
the
episode
show
Helga
like
on the Couch,
a couple
Helga begins
times.
to talk
That's
to a
it.
school psychologist, and we begin to learn more about her. Like most bullies, her home life really sucks.
Daddy, who's gonna take me to play school?
Eh? Oh, yeah, sure.
Hey, who's taking me to play school?
Yeah, in a minute, Olga.
No, I'm Helga, Dad. Helga.
Whatever. Go play outside, would you?
She was not only alone, but ignored by her parents. She was also bullied in school for having a crush on Arnold, the only guy who was really ever nice to her. We learned that he trusts them more than humans, but Arnold takes him out to show that some people can be trusted. However, while they're away, Arnold's bullies come along and trash the place. But the saddest moment has to be in Arnold's Christmas. In this episode, Arnold has to give a present to Mr. Huyn, since he's his secret Santa. But Arnold wonders why Mr. Huyn's always so sad this time of the year. This is where we learn about Mr. Huyn's daughter, and how he gave her up during the Vietnam War so that she can have a better life. Number 2. Rugrats, Mother's Day. In this episode, the babies and even the parents celebrate Mother's Day. Angelica's building a macaroni statue,
I watched
Stu builds a
Rugrats
breakfast in
before.
bed machine, and so on. But Chucky's dad is worried that his son will stumble across a box containing his mother's belongings. He tells Dee Dee to take care of it for him, so that Chucky won't find it and start wondering about his mom. Throughout the episode, the babies try to find Chucky a new mom, even making Angelica his mom at one point. Chucky's not saddened by the fact that he doesn't have a mom. He's just used to it. He inevitably finds the box containing old pictures of his mom and her other stuff. This is where Chucky finally gets to learn about her and what happened, which is pretty sad. This topic would be later expanded on in Rugrats in Paris, where it's even sadder. Number 1. Mr. Rogers Says Goodbye. The final episode of the beloved show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, premiered on August 31st, 2001. PBS announced the show's end due to Rogers being diagnosed with stomach cancer and wanting to retire. But Rogers promised that he would still try to teach children through his website. And, at the end of the final episode, Rogers promised viewers, just as he does at the end of every show, that he will be back. And while the episode is punctuated with a depressing undertone of Rogers' illness, the real tearjerker is his goodbye speech announcing his retirement.
I'm just so proud of all of you who have grown up with us. And I know how tough it is some days to look with hope and confidence on the months and years ahead.
Mr. Rogers, a man who simply wanted to make the world a better place. He'll always be our neighbor.
But I would like to tell you what I often told you when you were much younger. I like you just the way you are.
That was so sad. Okay, everybody, peace out. Comment below if you cried. I'm gonna end this video right here.